All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for sticking with us this long, but we're not even half done just yet. We're going to go ahead and switch over into the actual match now, and this is the beginning of the grand finals. This is going to be a best of 3 match between Team Xexen against Team GtG Joon. Now, one thing that you'll want to know right off the bat that's kind of important. The player over on the red team, GtG Joon, best Katarina player in the world right now. That's kind of a big deal, which is why you see that banned Katarina right off the bat. We were not able to see any of Joon's previous matches, but we did hear about how the opposing team made the mistake of not doing their research and choosing not to ban the Katarina, and thus completely wrecked their opponent team. So, looking forward to this match. This is going to be an epic series.
Yeah, it looks like it's already going to be an exciting one. We do have some odd bans coming out initially. Some of them are expected, but we do see the Katarina that is specifically targeted at GtG Joon, as well as the Jace ban coming out there, which is a little bit unorthodox. Jace not being particularly meta outside of our last game when we saw him being taken in the jungle. So possibly that put the fear in them because it was more effective than they anticipated. Kalista, a pretty solid AD carry, brings good utility, has high damage, good objective control, so that's a solid ban there. Looking at the purple team's bans, Vygar, a very prominent AP mid laner right now, able to fully blow up somebody if he's given the ability. Sivir, a very nice utility AD carry, respectable damage, very safe with her spell shield. And then Echo, a nice flex pick, able to go mid, top, or jungle, and always also very safe. So let's take a look at the picks we got so far.
So I'm not surprised to go ahead and see Kato God's Darius being picked right back up again. That was absolutely crucial pick to their match in the semifinals. So glad to see it back here, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the purple team is going to actually be playing with this.
Yeah, he applied a lot of pressure in that top lane, was able to be a nice solid split pushing threat, and when it came to team fights, he was able to get off those resets very effectively and able to keep himself alive long enough to really put out a lot of damage. So I think he'll be effective here, but he does take the risk in that they did take that first. So I'm interested to see in how purple team plans to counter this. Looks like they're starting off with a Vi and Soraka. Now I don't know how much I like this initial combination of champions. Vi being an all-in jungler that picks a target and tries to kill them, and Soraka being a support that is there mainly to keep their carry alive. Mm-hmm. If they do lock in this Caitlyn, which they just moved away from, then they'll be looking for more of a safe lane to try to just kind of survive and maybe do more like a hyper carry. So that wouldn't be bad, but I don't know. They're not really synergistic. You're not going to be getting many ganks off in the Soraka lane. Looking, however, over at the blue team, I like their picks a lot more, with the Elise being a very, very, very solid early game jungler with that ranged stun on her cocoon, as well as the execute damage on her bite. And the Leona to also provide that hard engage and also make up for some of the tankiness, which will allow the Elise to go more damagey if she does so choose, which we have been seeing a lot of Elises lately go Runeglaive. So that looks like a very strong combination there.
So I am actually really, really excited, alongside what you were saying. Green Things taunting with the team will pick a second time. I am excited to see exactly how the Elise cocoons are going to just stick and allow Elitic on the Leona to just dive. Boy, oh boy, that's going to be so much fun just to watch. That's got to be at least 5-6 seconds worth of total stun time lockdown.
Yeah, if they get a pick out on somebody, I could very easily see Cocoon into Zenith Blade, into Darius Pool, into Leona stun. Like the CC, the amount is just like extraordinarily high. So we do have a nice mix of single target engage here from the Leona and Elise Cocoon, but we also have a lot of nice AoE coming out of Leona with her ultimate, so that'll be a good mixture there for the team fights. Looking at the purple team, though, it does look like they are opting for that safe lane with the Vayne. Vayne can brawl early if she does have an aggressive support, which is something they could have possibly considered, but you can't really pick something like a Blitzcrank into Leona. And Thresh, you have to be pretty good with Thresh in order to really stop Leona from doing what she wants to do anyway. So this Rocco will help at least keep Vayne, alive in the early game, especially against this potent Twitch Leona lane that we see here. Very unsafe lane, but very strong if they get what they want to have happen.
Yes. especially with all the harassment coming down. Really, that's only the only true way you can really slow down a Leona so easily right off the bat is just harass her before she hits level, sometimes even level 2, depending on how aggressive that team is. So seeing that kind of harassment coming out from the Soraka, just keeping the poke lane and the just the overall lane composition pushing back in their favor, I think that's going to be a smart setup as well. I mean, the Twitch is a good pickup right off the bat, but I gotta say, it's just not going to allow... I'm a little concerned on how easily Twitch is going to be able to follow up on Leona. Maybe I'm just smoking something, but I'm expecting the Elise Leona combo to be amazing, but I'm not so sure about the early game Leona Twitch.
Early game, I agree. I think that there's not a lot of follow-up there, but late game, or like mid-game, once Twitch gets that ultimate, he does get that large range increase during the duration, as well as the piercing damage. So if Elise or Leona do get that nice pick, and Twitch does have his ultimate available, he will be able to follow up with that from a long range and be safe from pretty much all threats on the purple team. Vi will have to go pretty deep to get to him, and even then, if she does go for him and he's in the back line, Fizz is going to be on the front line. So the Fizz is like a nice good pick to also follow up. He does also bring some AoE with his Shark a little bit, but he will mostly be there to probably really punish this, not super high amount of threats comp that we see out of the purple team. Now I say that it's not super high threats because I don't expect this Gnar to go damage unless he gets ahead, and it's going to be hard for him to get head against Darius, especially if Elise shows up top lane. The Vladimir can go either way. Honestly, that's a swingy matchup. If Fizz doesn't get an advantage from somewhere early game, Vladimir Sustain will just outmatch him. And we do see a very greedy build coming out of Fizz here, opting to go for the Teleport Ignite. That means no defensive summoners coming out there, so he's going to have to rely on that Troll Pull to get out of these engages here. And as soon as it's down, if Vi follows up on him, he's going to be caught.
So I'm actually a little concerned because I haven't seen a couple pickups that I've been expecting to see that I have not. We have not seen Mordekaiser played. We have not seen Jinx played. Tristana has not been getting the pickup phase that I've kind of figured that they would be. So I'm actually really surprised. What are your takes on that?
I think for this match, the main pick is actually not that bad. Whereas, I could have agreed that you might see. One of those, something like it could have been a decent time for Mordekaiser to show up with Soraka, but Vayne is particularly effective against tanks, and here we have a possibility of up to 3 tanks should Kim Chicken opt to go the tanky Elise build, and she most likely will after she gets Runeglaive to go tankier. But we're going to have Electric and Kato God probably building a lot of armor, so with that armor, having true damage from the Vayne is going to be very important, and she does basically get all that damage for free with attack speed. So that'll be really big if she does manage to survive this early mid-game and is able to go off without getting punished too heavily by the extraordinarily high amount of CC on the blue team. That is going to be tough, though, considering she doesn't have Cleanse, and if she does want that Cleanse, she's either going to have to rely on Soraka to get the Chalice upgrade. Mikhail's, there we go. Or she's going to have to buy herself Quicksilver Sash, which if she buys Quicksilver Sash, now she's delayed her build. So it's a bit of a tricky situation.
Yep, so I am a little concerned. I'm looking forward to this match because we see so much potential tank and just straight up aggression coming out from the blue team. And I'm not seeing the synergy right off the bat with the purple team other than a lot of mobility.
Yeah, no, they're really confused for their identity here, I think. So they do have a decent chase potential with Vayne, Vi, and Gnar constant slows with Boomerang. And if Vlad gets Rylai's, that's going to be like some decent CC. But they kind of are towing the line between a pick comp and a teamfight comp because we have Vladimir and Gnar that are both really, really solid in teamfight. But Vi doesn't really provide the greatest amount of teamfight presence outside of the one-person lockup. And if you're catching one person, you don't want to drop a Vladimir ult on that person. Mm-hmm. You don't, if it's only one, you don't want to drop like Gnar ult on that one person. You want both of those to be hit on the big team in general. So I don't know if I agree with the Vi pickup. Looking at the rest of the team, something like a Gragas maybe would have been a lot nicer here. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's too late to go and make that change now. But I don't expect this Vi pick to be as beneficial as this Elise is going to be here because she just provides the same single target CC but from range and has the execute. And we do have the follow-up with Leona and Darius also able to provide pressure. So it's going to be tough, and Vi's going to have to get some good picks early to really make this work.
Yeah, and that said, I think it's still going to be a lot of fun to watch overall anyway. So I'm absolutely looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a blast. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the call-outs and really introduce these teams right off the bat. Over on the blue team, we have Elitic on the Leona yet again. We have Kim Chicken running the Elise. Kato God doing the second game in a row over on his Darius play. Green Things on the ADC with the Twitch. And finally, Xexen on the highly AP Fizz in the mid lane.
And looking at the red team, we've got Elielka on the Vi, MG Taunter on the Soraka, GtG Joon on the Vlad, Lifehack on the Vayne, and Kimchi Caps up there on the Gnar. So we do have blue posturing for an invade here. This is going to be spotted out by the red team, though. But they're outnumbered, and they're going to have to back off here.
Wow, we even have a big initiation coming from Leona, forcing the flash back up from the Vi. She's going to lose half her health. But oh boy, that's going to be a rough start for them now that they don't even have the jungler flash.
There's a trade of flashes there and a bit of a pressure applied to the Vi, but ultimately I would have liked to have seen more commitment from the blue team there. They were 5-stacked. They had the stun. The rest of the team really should have followed up there and really tried to make that play work. At the very least, I would have liked to have seen one more flash to at least try to put some more pressure. But maybe it's more beneficial that we just had the trade there. The support for the jungler flash is going to be a lot less pressure that Vi can provide now when she does gank, because she's not going to be able to flash Vault Breaker to get that knockup. And it looks like we're going to have that double jungle out of Darius again to avoid his slightly bad matchup against Gnar. I like that decision from the Darius player.
Absolutely. So now that we're going to go ahead and get back started with the game, it's good to go ahead and actually see normal junglers again, I have to admit. So that's going to be a good start and a lot of fun to watch over there. But we do still see the double startup in the lane going over on the side of Xexen's team.
Yep, just one benefit of that teleport. He is able to mitigate some of his early weakness against the Gnar and just come back with some more potions. Already, though, we see some bullying coming out of this mid lane. The Vlad onto the Fizz, really denying him the CS there. And Fizz playing really scared. I guess he's just going to let Vlad push him in here and just try to clean up as much CS as he can. Without some help here, though, this is going to be a tough lane, and it looks like Elise is already looking to make it tougher.
And there's not. Oh, here we start to get the fight. Joon actually getting caught out of position, was taunted into place, coming back in from Xexen. So well done there. Not a whole lot else going to it. So it's too bad we didn't see that aggression, but at least it's spooking Joon.
They did catch him without his pull there too, and that's probably not going to be the case once he hits level 3. So that might have been their best time. Some aggression going up on top lane,
as well as bot lane.
As he's getting pushed in.
Both sides just starting to go really for fight potential, especially now that they saw the Elise going back into the mid lane. I think was their cue to start picking fights.
Yeah, they are pressuring really hard for a Vayne Soraka lane here. They're pushing in quite handily, and they don't have the river warded, so they would be...
Oh, Kato got caught. Sorry, I keep going.
But it's some good awareness to see that the Elise would go to her blue, so it's a good time to start pressuring that lane now. So good map awareness on their part, as we do see the fatties up top just kind of throwing back and forth right now with Darius making full use of his passive there to try to help burn out some of that advantage.
Still big aggression coming back in from Xexen's going to land. No, Joon's going to deny that by going into the blood pool. Still a little bit of aggression. Both sides going down to about 300 health. And we do see potentially an Elise coming around to gank. And furthermore, Vi is right there too.
Good back and forth coming on mid. Something to take note of. This Fizz has a...
starts up the ignition. There's the flash on top of Joon. And that was enough to force out the flash. And Xexen, I think, is going to take that.
So this looks like it's going to be an 80 Fizz. Now, he could end up changing his build around, but 80 Fizz is something that most people had written off as dead after they made the changes to his ult. His ult used to apply a percentage damage buff to for all sources when he hit something. Now only applies the magic damage. So 80 Fizz, not as good as it used to be. Still looking like it's going to be somewhat effective against this Vladimir. Fizz does have good base damages, and here we come having Elise at the top lane.
Ready to pick on Gnar. Gonna get the blue buff start on top of him. We're gonna force him back out. Really not a whole lot else out of it. Comes the jump back in. She wants the pressure. Nicely started up. Coming against from Kato God. Could not get the pull. Tried. Sorry, bud. You failed.
Again, that could have at least been a flash trade if Kato God had come in there and burned his flash to get the pull in there. We knew that the Gnar's jump was down. I really would like to see some more commitment there. Possibly just some communication issues. But, overall, got at least some damage onto the Gnar, and it's going to allow Kato God to go back and buy and come back to lane, and it'll be pushing back in his favor.
I think both teams are perhaps just a little bit afraid to go ahead and start diving right off the bat because this is the beginning of the finals, which is a little interesting because I would have expected to see them go a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, that's my thought. I think that now's the time to be cheeky if you're going to be cheeky, right? You don't have as much to lose if you drop a game at this stage. You want to play safer if you're down. But again, we're seeing this pressure coming out of the Vayne Soraka lane, and honestly, the sustain is really making a difference here as Eletic just tanks that proc. He's not going to be able to effectively stay in that lane at such low health.
Almost had a gank coming back in from the Vi up in the mid lane, but that did not end up happening, and that's just going to allow the Vayne to continue picking upon.
Going back in on the Vlad.
Oh boy, look at that! Just continuing to dive. It's actually going to go ahead and run away. Has about half the health of Joon right now. Oh boy!
He's an engaged bottom lane.
Big fights all around. Here we go. Kim can continue to dive and gets the flash out of the Vayne. That's going to be nice, as well as the heal. Doesn't matter. Why are you going back in? Get the first blood! And that's going to mean a great little kill coming in. The Eletic here, they're not ready to give up just yet. We do see Gnar forced to end flashing. He actually taunted it back up in the top lane and continues to dive. We have fighting going back in the mid lane as well. Joon picking up the second kill. What is this?
This is some strong play coming up from this Vlad. Really making use of positioning and knowing the turret range well enough that he's able to harass this Fizz under tower without getting punished for it.
Kato God doing an impeccable job. What we did miss up here is that Kimchi Caps was trying to teleport to the bot lane.
Level 6 advantage.
And then Kato God actually pulls him back, and that's a flash. Misses the stun. That would have been the kill. And is going to continue potentially pushing back in, at least pressure him back out. Why are you going back in so far under tower? So greedy, forced the flash, not going to be enough. And dunked. Goodbye, says Kato God. I got your teleport, and now I got your life. Back in the bottom lane, we see Elise, not ready to give up the fight just yet. Dropping down to about 200 health, forces the jump right on top, gonna land right on top of Lifehack. No, she's gonna run away! And there goes the second kill. Boy, oh boy, she is feeding at this point. No, I take that back. I guess that was her only life. Eletic lost the first life. Sorry, not feeding.
And again, engaged mid lane as Fizz and Vlad go back and forth on one another.
And there comes the ult coming back in. Xexen continuing to run away. The ult landed, but Joon is just like, no, I'll just blood pool out. This is just not a good engagement.
And looking back at that earlier skirmish in the bot lane, I really got to hand it to Lifehack. Most players, if they see that gank coming, they know they're outnumbered, they would be focused more on running. Lifehack, knowing her damage, knowing that they have the advantage in the lane and the ability to sustain back up with the Soraka, chooses to stand her ground and fight. That's the second kill they've gotten from the gank happening in the bot lane. And this early game that is normally a problem for Vayne is going away. She's already almost up to Blade of the Rune King. This is going to be a big problem for Blue Team if this trend continues.
We're already up about 1,500 or so gold over on between the teams, right? 2K gold, excuse me. 2K gold difference between the teams right now, and that's a huge deal, right? We're only 8 minutes in.
Yeah, looking at the farm even, so far the red team has an advantage in all three lanes, despite having a tough matchup normally in this bottom lane, and this Vlad is just really bullying this Fizz out, able to get this kill as well as almost a 40 CS lead. That's huge at 8 or 9 minutes of the game.
We do see Fizz, who potentially wants to run another little fight. We don't actually see the Elise coming around for the gank. Thought we were going to get it, but I was a liar. So not going to have it, and that's going to let the Fizz just back.
I really want to point out, I don't think that this build that this Fizz is going for is going to work out for him in the long run. Despite the stellar play we saw out of Xexen in the previous game, AD Fizz just is not effective until he gets items. And he doesn't have nearly the burst potential that AP Fizz has. So against someone like Vlad, who's going to sustain back up, you really should be going for burst, not sustain damage, because Vlad will just heal. And here we see another engage by Xexen, but he's not winning that trade in mid lane.
Nope, and we even see Kim Chicken actually coming back into the mid lane, or up into the top lane, potentially trying to gank around this Gnar. Look at all the fights. And in response, we have the Vi back in the bottom lane, but we can only watch one fight at a time. Here comes the jump coming back in on top of Kimchi Caps. They really want this fight. They're actually starting to dive this time. Kim Chicken actually taking a lot of damage. We're going to switch back down to the bottom lane. Eltic taking a lot of damage. Here comes the flash. The Vi is actually going to go ahead and get some pickoffs. Green things, if you would just do a couple of attacks, you might have been able to get the kill. Chose not to, and that's going to be the Vi walking away free. And no, I take it back. Yep. I'm not sure what they want. Lifehack just has to come back in and help Vi, who was down to, what, 10, 15 health at the end of that? Big fight coming in the mid lanes. We actually see Joon getting a double kill, coming back on top of the Elise as well as the Fizz back in the mid lane. This is just spiraling out of control. What are they thinking, AD Fizz? This is not right.
All right, so I want to point out the comments that I made pre-game. I remember we brought up the fact that we thought that the red team's comp looked a little bit disjointed. All of that goes away if they get ahead this much in the early game, right? You don't have to care about having a weaker team fight or less CC or anything like that if you're so far ahead. And Vayne right now having 2 kills and an assist, as well as a 30 CS lead, is going to be significantly better than this switch when it comes to the team fighting phase. And Vlad being 3-0 already has his Willie Ancients punishing this suspicious build coming out of this Fizz here.
Probably just laughing at it right now.
He's going to be way more impactful when they do get that fight. I'm excited to see how these dragon fights go, as the only one who really has at least priority from a kill standpoint on the blue team is Kato God on this Darius, but he's still down by about almost 20 CS. So, when you're up 2 kills but you're still losing in the CS, that still doesn't necessarily mean that you're winning. And we do see that Kimchi Caps is still pressuring.
Pick right on top of Taunter. Here comes Elitik's stun. Gonna get it even through the flash, so that's gonna work out for them at least. They scored something, but I mean, a flash on a support out of a combat phase, that's not the greatest. It's something, but it's not nearly as much as they would have wanted.
And look here again. We've already got turret down in mid lane. No one there to respond.
And I mean, what are they gonna do? Xexen has what, half the health of this of the Vladimir here in the mid lane, and here comes the rest of the team to go ahead and start pressuring on. Misses the pull from Elitik.
Though, and he's already just punishing this.
He just doesn't care. Here comes the ult, only drops him down about half health. Here comes the rest of the. They're just gonna get the kill. There goes something for Fizz, but they needed half the team.
Yeah, and initially we saw there actually. This is kind of what we were pointing out initially in the game. The CC training was really good there by red team. Joon was not able to actually use the troll pool in that engage, so she wasn't able to get out of a fight that may have possibly turned. Would they have been able to invalidate some of that damage?
Engaging into a Kimchik and Elika, that's got to be it. Elika chooses to change their mind. Twitch going invisible. They're perhaps looking for a little bit of a reinitiation, especially since they do see the tower so low.
We still have Leona ult on cooldown though. Again, burned for one person. You need that for the team fights. If you're going to try to pick one of these fights, you got to have those tools available to you. And looking back at the top lane, it was just this unrelenting pressure from this Gnar. Even down 2 kills.
Look at this. He's got to go for this. He's looking for it. He wants it. Kato God, I don't think, has the sustain to outlast this Gnar.
No, but remember, last time when Gnar tried to pressure too much, it did cost him his life due to greed. So possibly Kimchi Caps learning by find the bot lane.
A big aggression coming back in from Elitik, forces the flash right out on top of that bat. Doesn't get the ult off, but she doesn't have it anyway, so what's it matter? Lifehack continue to pressure in, does not care. Here comes Gnar to say hello. Green things continue to take a lot of harassment. Gonna give the double kill over to the Vayne. This is probably just gonna be a triple kill, as Kimchi Cap says, no, you don't get to go to base. Here comes the dunk coming back out on the Taunter, but it doesn't even matter. The Soraka takes the brunt of the ultimate coming out from over on Kato God, and it still does not matter. It doesn't get a kill, but 4 kills over onto the red team so easily, and that's a free dragon.
Yeah, I cannot stress how calm and collected Lifehack is in these fights. Being very careful about positioning, always picking out targets that they can take. Now look at how high Vayne's health is right now. She wasn't even touched in that fight.
Nope.
And it started off as what looked like a disadvantage for them, but they were just able to focus on the right targets and just take them out one at a time. And while that was happening, once again, we had another bad engage by the Fizz in the mid lane, and Joon was just able to punish. You cannot deal damage quickly with this Fizz build. You don't even have a Blade of the Rune King. You can't dive towers, and where do we see Fizz die? Second interior turret against the Vladimir that has pool. I just gotta assume that the decision making here is kind of falling apart in this game. I'm hoping they'll pick it up for the next game, because we're struggling here. We're already almost got close to a 7K lead right now.
Even more than. I mean, the 7K gold is one thing, but look at this. They score 4 kills, 2 towers, and a dragon off of one team fight.
Yeah, look at the map right now. If we look at the map, we already have forward wards coming in for the red team. Blue team's wards are all in their own base, but we have engagement.
Big fight coming back on top of Joon. You're gonna miss that shot from Elitik. Nice flash that's coming out from Joon. Just buying time at this point. Are they gonna just give up on this? I think they are. Jun's actually continuing to look around. May just get. Not going to get any damage on him. If he just sacrifices himself, he might just get away.
Have to.
Might even not have to.
He can just sustain off those minions.
Oh, here comes Elitic diving right back on top of June. Gets the shot for the ultimate. Gonna go ahead and blood pool right back out of it.
She backed off, even though Twitch was coming.
What is going on? They're just completely giving up at this fight. June is just playing with their foods. Gonna potentially get a kill on top of Elitic. Not gonna get it. The ignite was not enough. And Zenon just... I'm so confused right now.
That was an extended 5-man engage. We had 4 to start, and Darius had to come down to help make sure that the Vlad couldn't get away. And when you have to commit 4 to 5 people to take out one character on the team and struggle that much, they gave up a kill on that engage. It's just not indicative of a strong game here. So they're going to have to really analyze what they did wrong here, as we see Vayne cleaning up again.
Goodbye.
In a 2v1.
Just does not care. That was both Kim Chicken over on the Elise as well as their ADC. This is done. This game was over at 10 minutes, and we're at 16 minutes in.
We have a 6-0-2 Vayne right now, who has a Bork already finished and is looking to get what looks like a static Shiv. Already has that average grade, probably stacking it up pretty good. Honestly, they can leave her alone in the lane, and she can 2v1. Like, you have no one on this team that can solo her. Especially not your AD Fizz that doesn't even have an item built yet.
I'm not sure what the blue team could possibly do to get back into this game at this point.
And we have a Medjai's on Blood now too. I just noticed. So this is a player who knows they don't need to care about the enemy team right now, right?
Nope. 9,000 gold lead over on the side of the red team.
All right, well let's start considering what went wrong here with these compositions, because we were talking up this blue team composition so much in the early game.
That was before we knew that Fizz was going AD.
That's true. That's true. But at the same time, we stress the fact that we have the early game pressure from the Elise and the CC training, and we might see some here as Vlad gets caught over in the jungle.
Red team is just ready to start engaging. I mean, even without the Vayne, oh boy, big fights coming in. Very sorry about that missing looking for it. June getting picked out again. I'm actually a little surprised, because that's the 3rd time he's gotten caught out of position.
Yeah, we might see a little bit of cockiness here, but honestly, they can afford it. Nice all from Kimchi Caps.
Beautifully done. Everybody else is continuing to fight. Kato God's going to drop. Lifehack is godlike. No surprises there. Xexen is actually going to go back up to their Tier 1 tower, and we're going to continue seeing the Twitch trying to aggress everybody, try and score back out the blue buff before the rest of the team takes it. And it looks like they're just going to keep walking away. Look at this. Where did the tower drop? We just lost the top
They were
lane.
just able to bully them off of it. I mean, so you talked about a second here, June getting picked out. It doesn't matter really when you have a 7-0 Vayne, right? You can be Vladimir, you can get a lot of damage on the enemy team, and then you can die, and then Vayne can just come in and pick up a kill and not take any damage in return, and that's perfectly fine, right? You don't need to be the carry in this game. You just need to...
Elitic's diving in. Why are you there? That is not where you should be.
Nice stun.
Beautifully done, come from the Gnar, stopping that Leona from being able to try and do anything, but that was just a bad positioning in their part in the first place.
Yeah, I just think that the blue team needs to cool their heads and really consider what they can do for this next game, because this game is done.
Big pull coming in from Kato God, pulling in 2, doesn't matter. The rest of the team's going to get out. Fizz will continue to dive in. Lifehack is going to get shut down, pulled in by Kato God. This is what the red team needed, or the blue team needed. They're continuing to pull in. Gets the Xexen dies, but it doesn't matter. They score 4 kills over their AD Xexen. I think they couldn't do any better than that. Vladimir coming in. Why are you here? This is a little awkward. Starts off the Ignite on top of Kato God. Taking a lot of damage. Forced to flash out. Gets the Ignite kill. I take it back. June is continuing to get picked off. It's going to be an ace. 2 for 5. They needed that really bad.
They did, but let's take a look at the goal. There's still a 10k deficit for the blue team. So this is what the comp is meant to do, right? This is what we were talking about. They got the CC chaining, we've got the high damage coming out of the carries, and we've got the nice front line that's able to protect their carries when they do this damage. What we saw the red team do to mitigate this is they applied a lot of pressure in the bot lane, so that there really wasn't. They actually applied pressure in all their lanes, so there really wasn't a good option for this early game Elise to do much. Fortunately, they're still showing that they can fight, but they're doing it because of missteps from the red team, not because they're poised to come back in this game.
No, exactly.
Had Vladimir been in that skirmish there from the start, I think that would have been a lost fight.
They played cocky, they went in one at a time, and they all got picked off because of it. They tried to clean it up because they knew they had the strength. We saw Vayne getting solo double kills, right? they knew that they had the power, so they decided to risk it and gain such a ridiculous advantage that it even perhaps would have supported a...
We're definitely going to see a fight here, I think.
Oh, big time. Vayne is definitely going to be needed. She's definitely in the back lines. Gets that nice little snipe on top of that. And denies it out to the Elise Kim Chicken.
They're just going to start it, no fear. I mean,
they just don't care.
They don't need to care. They have the numbers advantage. The late teleport comes in.
Way too late. Yeah, exactly.
She's silent. She can't drop her ultimate.
Goodbye, Elitic. You're first off the bat. Actually, no, we're going to go ahead and see Lifehack get the kill on top of the Twitch. That's probably a better pick off. Here comes Xexen. Going to drop next. We've lost 3 over on the blue team. 4 is about to happen. We do see Kato God drop second, 4th, and now Kim Chicken running for their life, dropping down to about 400 health. And red team says, thanks for the dragon, thanks for the river minion, and now we're just going to take a couple of extra towers while you back.
And again, the red team is making the blue team choose. They have 2 potent threats in this 7-4 Vladimir and this 9-2 Vayne. You go for the Vayne, the Vladimir kills you. You go for the Vladimir, the Vayne kills you. This Nar's no slouch either. With a Black Cleaver on Gnar, he actually does a substantial amount of damage and is able to tank just as much as he gives. So, like these fights where the red team is grouped up, I don't think the blue team has much business being there. Nope. And honestly, that was a really, really stellar silence coming out of the Soraka to shut down the engage from the Leona there, because had that ultimate come down sooner, perhaps that would have been a much worse fight for the red team. But as it stands, they get a really easy cleanup. Only one able to walk away limping is the Elise.
Oh, Soraka gets to the surprise pick on top of Elitic as well as the Elise. Elise choosing to separate on top of Taunter. Gonna miss they're both gonna trade flashes. Doesn't matter. Kim Chicken's gonna go ahead and get a kill out of this while the rest of them choose to continue aggressing on Vi. Kimchi Caps is gonna miss the stun, and that's gonna allow Kim Chicken to continue getting picked on. Vayne says hello. Doesn't matter. Nar gets the final pick on top of it anyway. Kimchi Caps drives next, and that's gonna continue being extra fights for Xexen, who's gonna get pushed back. Gets the kill. Here we go. Kano God saying hi, getting a beautiful triple kill. God, did they need this. Joon getting continue to be picked on. Blood pool coming out from him. He's trying to run away. Ace comes out for the blue team. Where did this come from?
Again, we actually, it's the same situation as before. We had our carries kind of coming in one at a time for the red team, but by the time they get there, one of the threats is already eliminated. And so the blue team can just easily change focus to the new threat that showed up and take them out systematically. Kato God showing up again on his Darius here. There's a possibility that this blue team, shows some sign of life even with their big deficit here. This could be a tower.
Signs of life, sure. Let's not forget the basics here, right? We've lost all but 1 tier 2s on the blue side. Red team hasn't lost a single tower. Now that's something to be said. When the blue team actually starts growing up and actually pushing for the towers like they need to be, there's so much gold laying around on the map in the form of towers if they can actually do a better job of taking advantage of their winning team fights like that. But it's not happening. They need to be getting the dragons. They need to be starting and getting at least the tier 1s off the ground. And then maybe at some point we will hopefully see the blue team able to capitalize on a couple of these one-team fights.
To their credit, I think that this is important for morale for the blue team. If they're able to get these fights and have them go their way, that might assure them that hey, this game didn't go how we wanted to, but as long as we work together as a team, we can still make stuff happen, right? And so that's an important moral victory for them here in this game. Kim Chicken kind of out of position there, but able to repel out of there and get out of there just fine.
Moral victories, yes, they needed these really badly, and they are showing that they came back to close to an 11,000. They're only behind by 11,000 gold here at this point, which is still a lot. But my concern is just this. You win a team fight. You score an ace on the opposing team. If your response, if your follow-up is as strong as if everybody had just gone back to jungling, you've gained nothing. If you go and you score a tower, and that is just it. I mean, 1 tower, fine. I'm not trying to knock the blue team. I just want to see them getting more out of these team wipes.
Well, there's a good start going on the Vayne there.
Here we go, right in on top of Elitic, who's actually going to be diving in on top of Lifehack, who's going to be dropping down quite a bit first. Xexen's going to drop. There goes the Fizz. They're going to continue picking up. There's 2 big fights going on all over the place. Blue team is dropping. 3 kills gone. Vi's actually coming back in on top of Kato God. Going to continue picking on him a little bit. This may just be the return 5-man wipe coming out that the red team has been wanting, and they lost nobody.
Yeah, we had a split fight there, but the fight was split in the advantage of the red team. We noticed that we had the Leona go on to the Vayne, which is good start, right? But we had the Vladimir there that was ready to help support. That's 2 of your threats in the same place. And where were our big contenders for the blue team? Currently, they're Darius and their Twitch. The Fizz is not going to be able to put out enough damage with the build currently to be able to really blow somebody up. And so when your Darius and your Twitch are your 2 characters that have
looking for it. Kim Chicken's continuing to pressure, wanting to see if she can dive in on top of this Vi, who did take about a quarter of her health gone. They're not going to spot Joon, who's going to go ahead and get away. But look, I understand the blue team is at a disadvantage here. They were very, very far behind in gold. They're back to a 15,000 gold deficit here, right?
Get Baron here though if they think the other red team's going to have to back.
This is their chance.
This is their chance to start getting come back in, but
that's not a bad play.
Get caught. I think that if they have to do it, they have to do it now. This is the time they have to do it.
This is very true. This is their opportunity to do so. I would love to see them be able to pull this off. We do see the Vi who's choosing to back out. So this is going to be a free Baron for blue team.
Yeah, I think they'll get it.
Great time.
Coming in for Gnar though. But if it's just Gnar, he can't outsmite the Elise here. Yeah, that was free. That was a really good call from the blue team.
Very well done. Great job, blue team. They're going to go ahead and start picking on the Kimchi Caps. They're not going to get it. He's just going to hop back over the wall. Wait for them to come in close and hop over.
They need to not fight this fight though. They're too low.
Yes. They need to take their victory and walk away. I don't know if they're actually going to choose to do this. Hopefully they do. Fizz is looking for it.
Vayne is going to catch this Leona here.
Come on, camera. There we go. Force the flash out of Elitic. And that's at least going to be something. Good try on the Cocoon, but missed that shot.
Dragon is up. This would be Dragon 3 for the red team. With their composition, the 5% move speed would actually be really big. Vayne benefits a lot from that, so does Vladimir. So this is a good Dragon. This also puts the threat of the 5th Dragon onto their team, and that sets a timer on for the blue team. It's like, hey, we see that you're holding on. We see that you have Baron, but if you can't beat us before we get Dragon 5, that doesn't matter.
Exactly. So
here we see Kimchi Caps getting caught out. But, Kimchi Caps for Dragon 3, that's acceptable. He shouldn't have been in that wolf camp, though.
They are down to 14,000 gold deficit right now, so not a bad giveaway there. I think they're doing just fine otherwise, but...
No, and we see, and again, this is indicative of the state of the game. The team with Baron is not the team that's pushing right now, right? Look at how deep we have the bottom lane here. They're already advancing towards the inhibitor turret, and I don't think they're going to be able to take it with their team comp currently because Vayne is relatively short range, and Vladimir is also short range and doesn't really contribute much to tower pushing. But again, if you're the team with Baron and you can't push out, that's problematic. And we do actually have the inhibitor down in top lane too.
Yes. And I do have to say, I think there's something important to say, the fact that the blue team did not take the Baron to make pushes. They simply took it to stop the red team from being able to do so.
No, that's correct. Yeah, it's a good denial, though. That if red team had Baron right now, the game's over. So.
Oh, it's a great denial, and I'm very happy to see that. But nonetheless, it's very sad to see that the blue team, that said, which we all know was a denial and not an actual pushing mechanic, pushing intent, I would like to see them pushing right now. They scored almost 2 full team wipes, and even with the Baron, they can't get kills. They can't get towers. I feel really sorry for them right now. I would like to see more.
And here we actually are seeing the Vi pick being okay here because of the limited number of threats on the blue team. If Vi is able to isolate the threat in Twitch, I think that their damage potential drops down significantly unless Darius does Darius things. But here comes the fight. Big
fight coming back into the bot lane. We have 4v4 down here. Elitic's actually going to get dropped down first. 2 down coming in. We do even see the Twitch dropping. The red team's not ready to give up just yet. They continue to push back in. Actually flanking coming back down. We even say the gold being pulled from Xexen. Doesn't matter. Kato God's looking for something. Gets the kill on top of Taunter. But that doesn't matter. We have a 5-man wipe. And the red team's like, let's go ahead and take a nice little inhibitor off of this too. And this very well may be game. We have 30 seconds. Oh, Joon. Interesting.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to at least push in and get this inhibitor here, possibly a Nexus turret. I don't think they'll take the game off of this, but again, in that fight, Lifehack just, very, very good maneuverability, was caught out of position initially, was able to cleanse using the Quicksilver Sash that we talked about him getting earlier. Was able to cleanse the stun from Elise and was able to back out, let Soraka heal him back up, and then come back in and still be a threat in the fight.
Big ultimate, get Paul coming in from Elitic. They're going to go ahead and get a kill off of this. Elika is actually going to be picked off first. We have a further kill coming back in. Elitic's going to get picked off. Doesn't matter. Holy crap. We see green things continuing to drop down too. all for a jungler. We have Xexen, who's ready to fight, coming back in, gets the Ignite kill on top. It doesn't matter. They're slowing down the inevitable, but that matters at this point. Kimchi Cap still running around with the bleed out, coming back in. Kato God, I'm not sure if he's able to actually get the dunk on right now. He's looking for it. He's got the ult coming back in. Beautiful stun! Gnar seals the deal. Ace a second time, and that's game.
Really good manipulation of the rage bar there by Kimchi Caps. Able to pop the ultimate to prevent Darius from dunking him and get that health bonus so that he doesn't bleed out. Really good mechanics there from him on the Gnar at the end of the game. Yeah, I think ultimately this game just comes down to there just being too many threats that do too much damage on the red team, and even with the large amount of CC on the blue team, their damage threats just aren't as substantial. So if they lose one, their damage is just gone. And I gotta say still, this Fizz build, I just don't like it.
Nope, not in the least.
It has not been very impressive this game.
And, I mean, look at this. He even switched it out. Look at it.
Yeah,
he's got the Bork, but he's just with pure
hybridize.
AP after that. What is that? I don't get it. Elitic kind of goofing around. We all know this game is over, so we're just kind of waiting for the finalization of the match. Thank you, Winions. Actually going to go ahead and finish the game for us. But, okay. What did the blue team right do? What did the blue team do right?
So, when blue team transitioned to mid to late game, they stuck to their 5-man squad, and they used their CC effectively, and they were able to eke out some fights that, in all honesty, they should have lost. But at the same time, I do think the red team got a little bit too cocky in their lead, and they gave up kills they didn't need to. Particularly Joon, who got caught numerous times around the jungle, and that would happen typically right before a team fight happened afterwards. So generally, the only real threat left would be Lifehack, and once Lifehack dropped in those fights, the red team was able to, or the blue team was able to pick it up from there. So I think that the blue team utilized their comp properly when it came down to the team fights, but they just didn't have the carries to make it work for them that game. And again, I'm gonna harp on this, but this Fizz build is just not. It's not benefiting.
It's trash.
It's not.
I don't like it in the least. Was he able to actually participate in anything in the fights?
He did damage, but he just doesn't do it fast enough. To make it matter. So when you're playing against a Vlad and a Vayne, both of which have sustain in their a lot of sustain in their builds, you cannot build a sustained damage build on Fizz. You have to build burst. You got to blow up one of those targets really quickly. And maybe he thought that he couldn't blow up the Vlad quickly because of the pull or whatever. But you got to kill somebody here, right? You got to kill Soraka maybe. You got to kill Vayne. You got to kill Vi. You got to be able to kill somebody quickly and then make that fight a 4v5. Because this team with all the CC, if it's a 4v5, they should come out on top. I mean, most teams should come out on top if it's a 4v5. But you're playing with the sustained damage Fizz. Who's he gonna kill?
Right.
If he goes for somebody in the back line, he has no tankiness other than his Zonias to do any damage. He's not gonna be able to auto attack enough for Blade of the Rune King. If he's Zoniasing, how is he auto attacking? This is where AP Fizz is just better because he lands that shark on there. He gets that damage amplification. He dashes in, does that immediate spike of damage, gets an auto attack off, and then can pull up and just back off or come down for more damage and Zonias or what have you. And wait for his team to follow up. He's done his job at that point.
Yep.
What job have you done with this Blade of the Rune King?
Exactly.
What do you do? You don't do anything here. So I think that was a big mistake here, at least in either build path or characters. I think the Fizz was a fine pick. I just don't agree at all with the build path here.
I think
very suspicious.
Part of my concern with it is he rushed the Bork first. Fine. If that's considered a decent play style, I haven't seen it. Perhaps I'm still new to the game.
It was a top lane build. It was never a mid build.
Right. So here's my thing. You go up against a Vladimir. You know you're going to lose the lane. I would have, at the very least, if I was in that seat, I would have built up a couple of extra beginning of game AP items instead of the Bork. I would have pushed the lane every chance I got, perhaps with a little bit of jungle help. I wouldn't have gone in trying to kill off the.
We should probably see if they're making a lobby.
I would have liked to have not seen them go against perhaps the Vladimir as much as here. Let's switch to the bracket real quick. I can't join it because it's full. So anyway, here's the point I'm trying to get to. If you're not going to be able to win the game, win the lane against the Vladimir, fine. Push it in, rotate bot, and stop that guy who's wrecking your bot lane, right?
I think they tried, though. They tried numerous times to deal with the Vayne, and every time they came down there, it wasn't enough. I mean, again, props to Lifehack, excuse me, because every time they were in a disadvantageous situation, she kept her cool on the Vayne. She positioned very well. She did not back out of the fight and take free damage. She got the kills, and thanks to the Soraka heals and the good positioning, she didn't even die in most of this, in like a majority of the situations. So just eking out those advantages early was a big win. Because now you can't deal with both the Vladimir and the Vayne at the same time. They're pushing 2 separate lanes. So even if you got your CC, you have to send them the one or the other, and they chose to send him for the Vladimir, but it took like 4 people to kill him. At that point, I agree. I think that they should have went for the Vayne and sent the 4 people, because the Vayne can't pull and get out of it. The Vayne has just tumble and ultimate.
Yeah.
And you lock Vayne down, she's dead. It just takes much less resources, takes much less time, and it gets the job done. But it was good still to see the signs of life out of blue team.
Yep.
That does give me some hope for them in game 2. I think that hopefully they're not demoralized by that.
They did have some great teamwork there. Especially, they knew exactly where to go for the Baron, and they got that right.
Oh yeah, that was a
made
great call. That was a fantastic call.
Perfect call going for that Baron. You see them working together, even if they're not always grouped. Even if they're not always grouped 100% of the time, they're at least doing a great job of sticking together as a team and working. I don't know. I'm excited to see what they can pull off. Please, for the love of God, no more Fizz 80 in the mid lane. But at the same time, put that aside. Take a breather, get back into this game, and know that you do deserve to be in the finals here. We've seen some big stomps coming here in the finals before. This is not going to be one of them, and I'm actually really excited for this.
And here we go. Looks like we're getting set up here. Oh,
nope, we're not ready just yet. We did make a mistake for the room choice. Lobby type. Thank you is the word I'm looking for here. So we're gonna go ahead and take a step back.
So yeah, final statement I guess on that game. Just some overall incredibly solid mechanical play from individual players on the red team. The Vayne play was stellar. The Vlad knew exactly how to win that lane. And from the blue team,
Vayne,
you played your comp. You played your comp correctly. You just did it. It was too late. You gotta know what to do in the early game. And starting longsword 2-pot on Fizz is not the correct choice.
Nope.
Last thing I'll say on that, I guess, if you want to go for that sustained damage 80 Fizz, why not start Crystalline Flask and the sustain build, right? Because you gotta survive the lane before you can actually get the items, and you're not gonna survive the lane with 2 potions against Vlad and a longsword. He'll out-sustain you all day. You can't effectively trade with him with that build unless you get help. But I think that we'll see a better game 2 here, and I'd like to see it go to game 3. I think that Xexen and the rest of them have it in them, and we have to rotate down to spectate.
Oops. Good call.
But yeah, I'm interested in seeing where this pick ban goes. A big thing that I will say is that the red team was carried by individuals, I think, more than it was the team.
Yes.
So if they can find a way to shut down those individuals, their team play will come out on top. But if you give those individuals 2-3 kill advantages in lane like that, your team play doesn't, it becomes irrelevant because you're already down 10k, and even though you get an ace that just puts you down 9k, and that it's exponential damage there from towers as it goes on. So we shall see if any changes are made here that will improve the game this time.
I certainly hope so. I think you brought up a very, very good point here, right? You did call very accurately, I will say, especially how the red team in the last game. Wait. Joon's red. They're purple team again.
They probably chose to be blue team again
because they lost the previous game. Got it. Okay, I thought it was a forced rotate.
No, you get to choose if you lose.
Got it. Okay, cool. So that'll help. Perhaps. I don't know. I guess we'll find out, won't we?
It does give. Well, no. See, the thing I don't like here is it does give. It gives Joon the counter pick again. You get the counter pick for the lane, and that doesn't shut down the individual.
Yep.
So.
I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. But Cat Vayne.
Are we in the screen for?
No, we should be though. Sorry, right. My bad. This is why I like having a co-caster. This is nice because I will make mistakes like that. So I mean, like you were saying, the Xexen's team, right? I think that they are a better team than, we will say, Joon's group of amazing individuals.
The question is, can they shut down the individuals to make their team play shine?
Exactly, and that's going to force Xexen's team as a team to start creating some really good. They're going to have to think outside the box now.
And this is actually, we see this in the bans too, right? Like, we take a look at the blue team's bans. None of those characters are, typically banned. Why are they being banned here? Because they're banning out the individuals, right? They know that the individual players are strong in these characters, and they want to deny these characters from being in their hands. Now we look at the purple team. Vygar, AoE stun, instant burst. Good team player with that AoE stun. Sivir, AoE carry. Or not AoE carry, support carry. Her entire job is to support the team with her ultimate and be safe with her spell shield. That's gone. Darius, able to do a lot of team fight damage and able to tank up that front line, still get those pulls. He did. Kato God did a stellar job on that Darius again, even though they had the loss there. So both teams identifying where each individual teams are lying and trying to mitigate that to the best that they can. And again, seeing this Leona pick come out. Now, one thing I will say, they picked the Leona last game with the Twitch, but they got bullied the entire lane.
Oh yeah.
If you're going to pick this Leona, you need to exert some pressure on it. I would have liked to have seen a level 2 or a level 3 engage onto the Vayne or the Soraka. Probably the Soraka, because you can't really effectively trade with the Vayne if the Soraka is there unless you burst her. But
I think part of the concern, I think Alatik's Leona is good, right? Did he miss some of his throws, some of the E's last game? Yes. We know for a fact that he's decent with it. He might be tiring himself out a little bit. It's kind of tough to play the exact same character 3-4 games in a row. So I do think that Alatik's Leona in general is a good one, but my concern came from the Twitch play. They need to have some decent follow-up. Give them Tristana. Tristana would be a great follow-up alongside the Leona, right?
It would support both archetypes. You could at least, have the option to jump in or back out. The one thing I will say about Leona is she doesn't have the option to back out generally, right? So if they are...
Give them Callista. Callista's not banned. Callista was banned the last few games, and Callista's still in right now.
I don't want to see this Quinn.
I don't either.
Okay, yeah. If Quinn top, maybe, but like...
Okay, all right.
But here's another slight mismatch in that Caitlyn is not the most oppressive laner from an all-in standpoint. She's very much over time chipping. She will harass you, the enemy AD carry from far range, and to get that incremental damage and get those headshots. But if Leona goes in, she can throw out a Q, she can throw out a trap. But other than auto attack, she doesn't apply much.
Yeah.
Against Soraka, that's meaningless. So I'm a little disjointed of a lane. I think that the two characters individually are fine.
Yep.
I don't mind the picks. I think they're perfectly fine, and Caitlyn's a good pick against Vi because she can stay far away. But they don't synergize well together in lane, and that's what we need to see.
Yeah. I think
Jinx would be great here.
Oh yeah,
purple team.
Absolutely. I think the Jinx is going to be a great little setup. Just really consistently pressure. Just say, Lifehack is a great player with the AD. I'm not sold on the Graves. Lifehack MVP last game, wrecked them. Absolutely wrecked them. Right?
I'd also give props to Joon, but yes, I think Lifehack was the star of the 2-star players that last game.
Yes, absolutely. They fed Lifehack, and Lifehack delivered. He pulled him in all the way to Lifehack pulled him all the way to a victory and did an amazing job. That said, I'm concerned because of the Graves' short distance is going just to open up Kato God's ability to headshot so easily. And as soon as they become low, as soon as if Kim Chicken consistently watches over the bot lane, which I'm betting you they will, if they're smart, they'll watch over the bot lane, they'll pick on Graves as best as they can, and
I'd like to see them pick on Soraka, because if they pick on Graves, Soraka heals him back up. Soraka can't heal herself though.
Nope.
So I'd like to see, if they're going to harass, they got to harass Soraka, because Graves can only really provide a heal for her, and that's not going to be enough. But I gotta say, like you're saying, I don't actually like this Graves pick with the Soraka, because How do they work together? Soraka's not going to help you burst people. Graves doesn't really need to be sustained. He's already pretty tanky because of his passive. So again, we got a kind of a wonky like last game made sense, right? Soraka with Vayne helps make up for Vayne's early game issues, and then Vayne can carry her by herself with her silver bolts. Graves doesn't provide much after his initial burst. So against Leona, it's going to be lessened even more because Leona can just stand in front of Caitlyn and just eat the collateral damage and not have to worry about it.
Pretty much.
I want to look at this Hecarim pick here because I don't like this pick very much either. Hecarim used to be played quite a bit for the home guard build, and it looks like he's kind of looking to do that. But he's a greedy pick. He needs money to be good, and he can be punished very easily. He has no escapes outside of his running away, and his ultimate.
Yeah,
and you don't got that. You don't have that early game.
I think they're just looking for the mobility and the stuns, right? I mean, look at everybody on their team. They've all got forms of mobility, with the exception of,
I think I would have rather seen the Gnar when he was hovering.
I agree. I agree. At the same time,
okay, this is weird.
Yeah, oh gosh, how hilarious would this be if Kimchi Caps is saying, you know what? I'm going to show you how AD Fizz is supposed to work.
AD Fizz is okay in the top lane. I mean, I still
okay. Yep, they got the teleport.
Okay, now they're changing.
Nope,
okay.
Take it back.
I still don't like it, especially against Fiora because she can just kind of. If you're going to go Fizz, you go AP against Fiora because then she can't punish you as much. But I think that this Hecarim is going to get bullied by this Fiora's passive because he's got to be in the minions and she can just dash around and stab him up a bit.
Absolutely.
This mid lane matchup will be really interesting, though.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more fun than it was last game too. But at the same time, I am glad to not see a Vladimir pick up yet again. Because Joon, I don't know. Mainly because I like to see fighting. Right.
We'll get to see the mechanics of Joon this game a lot more than we did the Vladimir game. Right. Like Vladimir is a fairly simple champion to play mechanically, but to understand positioning as well as Joon did and how to really bully, that takes a little bit more skill. But Fizz is a very mechanical champion that, when put in the right hands and built properly, can really punish a team if he gets ahead. Mm-hmm. And taking this Ignite, I think, is Joon's primed to do so. And this Fizz pick actually works well with the Vi pick, unlike last game where the Vi pick doesn't really function with the Vi pick. The Fizz pick does.
I'm feeling really stupid because I can't believe that I missed an Azir being picked up.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited because this is going to be a really interesting matchup. It's basically going to be it's whether Joon can burst Azir or whether Azir can force Joon away enough and sustain damage to kill him.
Yep.
This Echo jungle is a nice pickup too. I actually like again I like blue team's team comp more than I like purple teams because they just don't have a lot of group synergy with each other.
And they want to fight. I mean, they seriously want to fight. We've got a double teleport composition coming out. We may not have an Ignite coming in from anybody, but who cares? Double teleport coming in.
With all that damage, you don't need Ignite.
Yeah, exactly. Bingo. So they just want to fight. And I like that because that's also going to mean that we're going to be looking at the purple team's mobility in a completely different manner. So either way, this is going to be a lot of fun.
And Ignite does, quote-unquote, counter teleport, in that if you win the lane with Ignite, it doesn't matter if the other person is teleport because they're weaker than you.
Yeah.
But if they don't win the lane, if they go even, teleport is much better than Ignite later on.
Yeah.
Much, much better. So we'll get to see, which one of these contrasting strategies, except, Kimchi Cap's running both of them because he doesn't care, apparently.
So we're going to go take a break real quick. We got 45 seconds until the match begins loading, so we're going to take a break real quick, and we'll return very shortly, right before the match begins. See you in just a moment.
All right. So Chris had to step away, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started here with the introductions. On the Azir, we have Xexen. On the... Wow, I can't remember his name.
Sorry about that. We're going to go ahead and get back. And
there it is.
very sorry. All right, so we see Xexen over on the Azir. We see Kim Chicken over on, just so we double call all this, we have Echo running Kim Chicken. Over on the the top lane, we have Kato God running on the Fiora. Down to the bottom lane, we have Green Things running on Caitlyn. And finally, Elitic as the support Leona.
And over on the red team, again, we have Elioka on the Vi once again.
Oh, look at this big startup. They totally ganked it right off the bat. Big aggression coming in from the Echo, catching everybody with the first shot right off the bat. 30 seconds till minions spawn. I was expecting first blood. Here comes like all the flashes. Look at this fight potential. They seriously want this. First blood goes over onto the Graves. This is not what they wanted. They're hoping for a little bit more of this. They might get a first kill off of this. Lifehack is looking for it. They're not going to get it. They're so trying. This might be a team wipe right off the bat. They want this. Look at this. Oh, how? Oh, that sucks.
That is a disaster for the blue team here. One thing that they had to do was not give the solo laner, or give the carries an advantage. And what do we have here? We already have Graves with a longsword and an extra pot in his pot in the lane. He could have start building towards a Bloodthirster really early and go for that burst Graves build. That is not what the blue team needed to have that game start out as.
No.
And it looked so promising too. They had such a good positioning on that engage, but they just did not have the ability to out-sustain the Soraka heals.
They got some great damage in. I don't understand where it went south.
There are a lot of summoners burned on the side of the red team, so I'd be looking to see some return plays coming out here from the Echo. But yeah, just good positioning from the red team really made a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and continue our introduction here.
Yes, agreed. Very sorry about all this.
MG Taunter on Soraka in the bot lane with Lifehack, who now has 1 kill on the Graves, and Kimchi Caps up in the top lane on the Hecarim, and Joon representing Fizz in a little bit of a different build, hopefully in the mid lane.
You talked about how the AD Fizz in the mid lane would potentially need a lot of extra sustain. Well, look at what we've got on him.
It's possible. I'm hoping we don't see AD Fizz come out again in the mid lane, though, especially against Azir. You need that burst, but here's some fighting.
Big fight coming right off the bat in the mid lane. Holy cow, look at all this. Xexen's starting to take a lot of damage. Gets the flash and the ignite. Goodbye, Xexen. Second blood. Oh, man.
And you see, that's the damage that comes out of the AP Fizz. He just needs to dash in, and his auto attacks actually do more because of the procs. The more health you're missing, the more damage he does with his auto attacks. So, we got Joon just showing Xexen how to play the character.
Exactly. And I guess that first that assist goal right at the beginning of the game, not too shabby on top of it.
Got a little duel going on up in the top lane with Kimchi Caps, though, forcing Kato God back with his dash there. Parlayed, though, so the damage was reduced a little bit. This is going to be an interesting lane. They're both fairly all in, so they should be fairly back and forth.
3 minutes and we're back. We're already down 1,000 gold. This is not exactly what the Xexen team wanted to be able to deal with. I mean, I was so excited for them to do. They started out so well in that engage. It just didn't work. And it makes me sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's risky plays like that have high payoffs, but they also have really, really detrimental consequences if you don't come out on top. And we can already see that both teams know that top lane is a priority as they're sending both their junglers up there. I actually like the positioning of Echo here a little more. He's ready to counter gank and he can set up the stun.
Oh, he got caught out of position. This might be the first kill for Kim Chicken's gonna go ahead and get the flash. Doesn't matter. Here comes the flash. A secondary one coming out. Vi's looking for it. Gonna go ahead and get the pulls. And this might be an extra kill on top of Elka. Come on. Not trying to pick favorites here. I just want to see some extra fighting going on. And that's not going to do any good.
And in the bot lane, we had a nice tower dive forced by the Graves there, really pushing their early game advantage. You don't even see any damage on him because that Soraka's healing him back up. We talked about how there's no real lane synergy between Soraka and Graves, but again, if you start with a kill, you get that extra damage out there. You can carry yourself, and I think that's what Lifehack has been planning to do the whole time. He's just going to make the plays happen and let the Soraka allow him to make them safely.
Absolutely. And, I mean, holy cow, he's already up 20 CS and 2 kills. The equivalent of more than 3-0 running over on this Graves, in addition to the Caitlyn being back 0-1, right?
Yeah,
It's gotta hurt.
This is going to be a really, really uphill battle for the blue team. They don't need that, as we see another duel happening in the top lane. A little bit of a damage trade there, but we see Kato guy coming out on top now.
So
Extra damage from that longsword.
big time. Big time. I mean, only one exception to the rule. I take that back. I was going to say that every lane over on the red team has more CS than their equivalent on the blue team, with the exception of the jungler. And even that's not that big of a deal, so I'm not going to... Useless, unnecessary fact, everybody. So, nonetheless, Graves is going to go ahead and start backing two... Oh, boy, I wonder what that's going to be. Is that going to be a pickaxe, or you think he's got the BF already?
It is the BF, so I think he's going to go for that early Bloodthirster build. And here we see Joon again punishing Xexen.
He's already level 6 over Xexen, and that's going to be a big punish. Here comes Echo doing a great job catching out the Joon. I don't think it's going to matter. It's not going to get the kill.
No, Xexen didn't want to try to fight it. Probably wise on his part.
Very true.
Fizz did have his...
the taunts. They do want to continue diving back in. Xexen, you better get in there, help your buddy. But he does get baited out and ignited on top of Xexen. I don't think it's going to be enough to get the pick on. He is going to get the kill. And there goes Kim Chicken. He's definitely trying. No, I take it back. We're not done yet. We actually have the re-engage coming in from Elitic. Great flank opportunity. And that's going to keep the rest of the team alive.
You know, once again, the blue team trying to make use of their team play and come together, work together, but just really not super coordinated there between Xexen and Kim Chicken. Kim Chicken obviously wanted to continue that brawl, whereas Xexen, you know, he was hesitant. He backed off. He tried to come back in and then got punished for it with, you know, the hesitance there. So I think maybe he's a little shaken up from that last game. Hopefully he can recover. Azir has a really solid late game, so there's still that chance. But we're already looking at a 2K lead here coming out for the red team, which this early in the game is fairly substantial.
7 minutes in. They've got to be able to figure something out here. I applaud their efforts to go ahead and keep engaging in, especially, but I mean, it unfortunately just has not worked out. Like, there's a point where you're unlucky, like when they chose to go around and flank them at the blue, and then there's a point where you're behind, and you should not. I don't know what they should be doing at this point, because everything that they've tried has failed.
I think that they really need to isolate a lane and try to bounce it back at this point. Honestly, the best lane to pick, I think, would probably be the Fiora lane, but she's already died twice, so...
They're going to need that Fiora to be powerful and to be in this game, but at the same time, no, you're totally right. Graves is making things ridiculously difficult by pushing into the bot lane so hard. The tier 1 is almost gone.
There's nothing Caitlyn can do at this point. Having that BF sword advantage up on her Doran's boots, there's not even close to the same damage. And nonetheless, Caitlyn does less damage than Graves up front anyway, and he's already looking at that level 6. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an engage here soon. Vi's in the bottom lane, lurking.
We even have Azir trying to pick back on the Fizz. Fizz chose to dive under the tower.
Here's a little bit of that hubris we saw at Joon last game. Gets that advantage and, you know, tries to push it, but sometimes does things that are a little bit risky and gets a little punished for it. So she's going to have to go back. They're going to have to go back to shop now, but you know, we will see that advantage continue to be pushed. Fight in the top lane.
Fight back up in the top lane. Very sorry about that. Kimchi Cap's actually going to go ahead and take out the bot lane. Look at the teleports coming in. Azir says, no, let's fight right now. We're going to need something out of this. Is going to go ahead and start picking on him. I don't know if Caitlyn's going to be able to survive. He goes ahead and flashes out. There's going to go the Great Wall coming back in, and they're ready to keep fighting. Goodbye, Taunter. You're going to give a nice double kill over to both the... we saw Echo and we saw Caitlyn getting kills on the board. And they might even translate this into a dragon. We do see Fizz lurking around, and Joon knows of its existence. Holy cow. And I don't know how good this is going to be. Yeah, they're going to be forced to back, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that was exactly what the blue team needed to do. We did talk about them having that double teleport. As we
Elitic's going to dive. I'm not sure if that was the right move. The rest of the team wanted to go ahead and take advantage of it. She does flash right back out of the fight. Not a good move. Echo is going to go ahead and use his ultimate, and is going to do a little bit of damage, and just going to stun. Okay, he's going to try and keep pulling you back in. Here comes the Hecarim ready to dive in, and Vi is going to play cleanup duty.
I don't know if she needed the flash there. She could have just let Hecarim pick up the kill. It probably would have been actually better for him because he doesn't need money. But they will translate that into a dragon, as they did force the blue team off.
You say that, and I agree, but at the same time, the Vi influence around the map has been crucial of keeping
It's going on Caitlyn bottom now.
Back down. Actually, I think he's going to get picked off.
The
Boy,
burn
Caitlyn.
damage from the passive.
They're trying. That burn is just wiping them out. That's what resulted in 3 kills already?
Yeah. And you know, again, to the blue team's credit, they're doing what their comp is supposed to do. They had a good teleport with that Azir in that previous fight, but it's these small skirmishes that they can't take. They're playing against a Fed Fizz, a Fed Graves now, a getting money Hecarim. He's not fed yet, but he's getting there. And they just don't have the characters that can sustain it. They don't have the damage yet. Fiora and Caitlyn are both comparatively gimped to their counterparts. And while Echo and Azir are, putting out damage and Leona's getting good stuns, there's 2 threats now on this team that are big, so they can't take them both out at the same time.
Right, and this is what I was talking about. I'm not surprised that they went ahead and let the Vi get the flash kill for that one, because Vi's presence around the map has been so significant in trying to keep the pressure coming down. Oh, here we go, right on top of Kim Chicken. This is not where you wanted to be. 4 are going to come in and just say hello. Fizz as well as Hecarim are going to go ahead and get the pickoffs. Soraka is, wow, what a heal. And Alatik's going to try and take something out of this. Gets the kill. The solo kill, well done on that one. Fizz, nice throw. Is going to get the kill. Doesn't matter. Gets the flashback out of Azir. And there goes Graves saying hello with the shot. We're going to go. What happened there? Hecarim tried to take the shot, and it just didn't do any good. Very sorry. Oh, boy. You betrayed me, he says, as he goes down.
So that was a fantastic Shurima shuffle from Azir, able to push the entire team into the turret. Unfortunately, the tower was not actually focused on any of the enemy team players and was still shooting minions. So while we could have had somebody die in that fight with that shuffle, had it been focusing properly, didn't quite get there. Nice pickup by the Caitlyn due to the misstep there by Hecarim to answer back a little bit. But now we're seeing that gold lead creep up to 5k, and this is looking pretty similar to last game. Take a look at that kill spread there. We got 5 again on Joon and 3 down there on Lifehack.
Sorry about the camera getting stuck on the minion camp there for a minute. We had a little button issue, but we fixed that obviously. So sorry about that again.
So we actually did not see the Bloodthirster build coming out of Graves. We're actually seeing the Infinity Edge. So he's going for more of an auto attack build. That's fine. It'll do the job, but I like the Bloodthirster build a little bit better than the upfront burst.
Zenon's trying, does not have ultimate. Here comes Echo, wants to say hello. You want to fight? Let's fight. He says Zenon's going to drop, and I don't think Echo's just going to be able to do anything about this. He's trying. Here comes Zavai, says hello with her fist, and that's just going to be the end of the second jungler. Ultimate gets the nice try. Joon is trying. Does a great little dive. Baits the ultimate right back out of Kim Chicken.
And there's a fight going on bot lane too. That's finished up.
What an amazing play coming back out of that. Just seeing the Fizz bait out Echo's ultimate. I've never seen that kind of counterplay.
Yeah, Joon is really showing up as the mechanical leader as Elika gets caught in their jungle up on the top side.
I'm going to have to remember that. Oh, sorry about that. My apologies. Wow, they got a kill. They got the Vi. Well done, guys. That's what they needed to get.
Yeah, but I just every time, like I said, we have this Fizz, and we're able to show a mechanical skill difference here with this AP build as you're able to bob and weave inside of these fights. You don't need your auto attack damage. You can just hit them once and hit them hard, and that's all you need. And Joon really showing that, able to play some mind games there using the troll stick.
And we're going to see a big... Well. Oh, Alatik misses a shot coming in, and that's at least going to be something. Here's Azir coming down from the mid lane. She's going to get spotted out by the lane ward.
Oh, missed the wall jump too.
Did not get the lane jump, the jump over the wall, and that's going to mean they just get away scot-free. Back in the mid lane, they're going to take quite a bit, and that's a free tier 2, tier 1 out of it. So they're just not getting anything.
In the top lane for it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just the trade, and when red team's already up by so much, them getting the trade is better. And I might not even get a trade out of the Fiora here.
They're not even going to get the tower out of it, but they do see the Graves, and they're going to want to pick at it a little bit. I don't know
Caitlyn can't duel
why.
Graves.
Yeah, why are you here by yourself against Lifehack? You're not equipped for this fight. Here comes the jungle Echo coming back in. Going to get a couple picks. Nice throw coming and trying to get the assist and the heads up on Lifehack.
This the Soraka showing her usefulness here.
Bingo.
And the lack of damage on Caitlyn. Echo can't carry this by himself with just Ring Blade.
He's trying. Can't fault him for it. And Echo, especially, Echo's doing a better job right now. Or
Engaged from Leona.
Fizz. Here comes Elitic diving
Nice
right
ult.
back in. Grits the ult right on top of June. Is going to continue diving right back in. Goes godlike on top of Leona. And that's going to see Elitic down. Xexen nicely done on the ultimate. Knocks out Few. June says, I still want to play ball. Goes ahead and throws the Ignite on top of Vizier, and it's going to drop down to tower. Green Things is going to drop, and that's going to be an ace, except for Fiora, I apologize for the ace, who's still up in the top lane. Not sure what she's doing. She had the teleport.
Yeah, we talked up the team play from the blue team, but that was just a good, stellar team play from the red team there. Hecarim teleporting down, getting the cleanup. They're able to push in this tier 3, and are going to get this inhibitor off of this. I can't imagine they don't at this point. Fiora, even if she showed up to that fight, I don't know that it would have changed much unless she showed up at the very beginning before Hecarim gets there.
Oh, big start coming out on top of Elika, who's going to go ahead and drop down to the Kato God. Well done start there. They're not ready to stop pressuring back on top of him. Lifehack might just drop down here, down to 300 health. Gets the flash out of Kato God. Going to go ahead and work on the double kill. They're not done chasing out of this. Kimchi Caps understands perfectly well that they're continuing to pressure on top of this. Goes on top of the safety of their pink ward, but I just don't think it's enough. And the blue team gives up the chase.
It looks like they might try to transition that push back into the dragon here. I like that call. I do think that if Fizz comes, he can disrupt it and possibly pick up a kill, but it looks like he's just fine.
Hecarim's going to go ahead and catch Green Things out of position. That's going to be a solo kill. What is this? Echo says, fine, you want to fight? Let's fight. Goes ahead and gets the shutdown gold on top of him. June's going to say hi and gets the stun. What an outplay. I don't think he's going to survive. At least Elitic's there to slow down the process. And at least gets the ult coming out. And they're going to sacrifice support for the rest of them. This might be a bait. They're going to try and see if they can search for June, but with with Haunter right at their flank, I don't think that's going to do a whole lot of good. Chicken, what are you doing? Don't go back into that fight, buddy. And it's going to go ahead and get him out. But at the end of the day, they got the trade that they were, I don't want to say was a trade they wanted by losing the jungler, or the support instead of the jungler. But
I don't think there was any need for Elitic to stay as long as she did. She burned a lot of resources, and it looked like Kim Chicken was already, for the most part, out of that fight.
Yeah.
But really, the entire issue with that was Green Things was just out of position.
Yes.
Had no business being on the other side of the wall by herself when the rest of the team was in the pit. Didn't even net over the wall to get into the pit, and then caused that entire thing to happen. So at the end of the day, that was a 2-for-1. Flash did get burned from Soraka there, though. That was a little bit of a greedy back on her part.
yes, absolutely. So, yeah.
And again, we're seeing, the exact same thing happen out of this game. Although this time, June is decisively, carrying this one. 9-1-4 on this phase, again with the Magi's pick. Probably not going to get punished. I do think Lifehack's dead here.
I would think so too. Oh, gets the shot right on top. Doesn't matter. Lifehack is saying, fine, we're going to fight. And I'm just going to walk out with the kill before we even choose to do that. Caitlyn, I'm not sure why she chose to ult right there.
Another mechanical misplay there from the Caitlyn.
A very strange play. And that thing is that Xexen's going to try and get the kill out of this. Gonna get the ult. Well done. And at least Leona's going to get something out of this. Gets the stun right on top of Vi. But I think Elitic still may be dead here.
I stand mistaken. Lifehack, in true form, opts not to run in the face of adversity. Picks up not one but 2 kills in the process before dying, proving time and time again how strong of a mechanical player they are, knowing how much damage they can deal, and when they can hold their ground, knowing that their team is going to back them up.
Exactly.
Once again, good team play coming out of the red team here, much better than the previous game. I'm liking what I'm seeing. And if they do end up taking this game, it's a well-deserved first place.
Oh yeah, easily. Very well done. Both teams, I absolutely will say, deserve to be here. The blue team, sure, they may just not have the mechanical skill that the rest of the team, that the red team may have. So absolute props off and hats off to June, Team June. However, that's not in the least to knock the team of Kato God. They deserve to be here, and they're doing an amazing job. And I don't know. This has been a good game to see. Here we see June actually continue to go ahead and get a couple of kills. Watch this. He's going to score triple kill right there. And Kim Chicken gets the ultimate. Here comes the Caitlyn shot, and that's going to sound the retreat. And I think they're going to go ahead and get it. Sure they will. Vi wants to say hello. Dives in a little too late. Is not able to save the Fizz.
I'm glad that the 5v1 was successful. That's good. But again,
it only took him 2 kills to win a 5v1.
Just some poor poor decision making in these fights. I don't think that Xexen needed to go into Joon there. It just made the troll pole that much easier to land, which does a lot of damage if you land directly on top of the person. And he didn't even get the shield out of it, nor did he actually ult in that fight. So I don't really understand him falling in. He should have just stayed back and attacked with his soldiers. Just small mistakes from Xexen these past 2 games that are just accumulating, and Joon just showing who the better mid laner is in these matchups.
Oh, big time. And, here we go. We see Elitic going completely full throttle on top of this yet again. Not sure if this was the right target, driving straight onto support. Perhaps they just needed that for a little bit of help. Here comes the teleport from Kimchi Caps, and there goes even the Azir Tower coming back up. I don't think it's going to be enough, and that's going to be a beautiful little triple kill coming over for the red team, all for the cost of a support.
Life hack. Holy shit.
No kidding.
Excuse my French, but the ability to accurately determine which threats they need to focus first.
They're going to go ahead and try and fight under this. Great start coming back out, or a great attempt, I should say, coming out from Kim Chicken. Gets the shield out, but it doesn't actually stun anybody, and that's going to be inhibitors. This is not going to be game.
I don't know. It might be.
I mean, last game they were able to turn it into a victory just because the rest of the red team...
They're playing it safe. That's smart.
Yeah, and that's the good way. Because they're not going to hopefully make that same mistake twice of choosing to re-engage right after spawn one at a time.
I'm telling you, I think we need to have 2 MVPs to this game, because both Lifehack and Joon are just having stellar play.
Can we say MVPs of their team?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Elika getting caught out here a little bit of a greedy stay. That's it's not a big deal.
Judging by the capitalization of that name being popped up, I think it might be Eli Ika.
It might be.
But I don't know. I'm not going to be able to pronounce everybody's names correctly all the time. It's just not going to happen.
Blue team could try to force a Baron here. It's not going to go as well as last time. There's no dragon for them to prioritize. And I think if they want to have a chance to do what they did last game and at least have a showing in the mid game, first they
Kimchi Caps, you can't be, or Kim Chicken. What are you doing? Walking straight into Kimchi Caps. That's going to be one dead start right off the bat. Actually, Leona's going to drop first. Here comes the proper shot being blocked by from Green Things. Kimchi Caps ready to continue aggressing right down the mid lane. Forces the ultimate. Great start. Azir actually going to knock everybody right back. Great go. And that's going to be the rest of the team. Goodbye. Holy cow. Look at that damage.
I'll stop the game. Good hold. That's unfortunate for Lifehack there, eating about half the health bar.
I don't know. What are you talking about? That's not the game. Lifehack just finished off 3 members of their team. Joon's ready to keep pecking on the rest of this tower. I don't think it's going to be game.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it's the game.
It's going to be inhibitor.
It's going to be pretty close, but...
I mean, even look back in the bottom lane. We have Winions continue to push right back on the top of the tier 4s. We're about to watch Elitic drop. Kim Chicken's right about to drop. Vi's even taunting. They just don't care anymore. Here comes the tier 4s. Flash shot from Lifehack is going to be an extra kill. There goes Green Things. There goes Xexen. He's going to be next. Do I take it back? Kato God's actually going to make it back to base. And we even say Joon walking away. Okay, game is still going, but it's over.
Yeah, just fantastic overall play from my team this game. Don't even have to call it an individual game. There's good team play. The buy pick came through really well. This Rock has been doing work with those heals. Fantastic teleports from Kimchi Caps. If they don't have Triumph and Rise, congratulations. You're going to walk out of here with one today. The game is technically not over, but we got a 14k lead, 3 dragons to 0. There's not even a really good potential for Baron. They're going for it. I think that Fizz knows.
Yeah, what else are they going to do? The Caitlyn does not have the damage necessary to go ahead and help assist this.
They can't even get over to Baron.
No, they can't.
Yeah, again, looking at the items.
Oh, here comes Fizz. Beautiful Azir dodge. Still fighting 2v1. Oh, look at those tower shots.
And if we were to pick an MVP, just one, I think that plays like that would make Joon less of the MVP. Because this is what we saw in the previous game. They fed a kill or 2 that would allow blue team to get some money back. It probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of the match or the game, but
I think we're removing the MVP from Joon, not because he lacks the skill necessary to be the MVP. Obviously, we said he deserved it before, It's about treating your opponents with respect that we care about.
I
And
don't think he's being disrespectful. I just think he's being cocky.
yeah, that's my point. Finish the game. Show your respect by ending the game and treating your opponents like. Don't allow for a minute for there to be a possibility of the upset. And that's what I'm looking for right there. There goes Life Hack. The rest of the team continue to dive upon him. They were able to get the kill on top of Joon earlier. That's going to mean the rest of Kimchi Caps continue to dive in. There comes Elitic's ultimate. It's going to stun too. It's a great little go. Nonetheless, he's still going to drop down. The rest of the team continuing to fight. Blue team is actually not doing a bad job sustaining this. There goes Kimchi Caps. Shut down gold going over to the Fiora. Eli Ika is going to continue running away. Going to get the flash back out of it. Joon, sorry about that. Wow, what a big... Okay, I take it back. Big shots coming back in. Nice job coming in from Kim Chicken, and this very well may be a lost kill, a kill over to Fizz. That's what I'm talking about. Don't BM your opponents because they might just get a comeback. Do I think they're going to come back out of this? Maybe not, but we've shown that Team Xexen, they were able to make a few comebacks here and there all over the place.
Yeah,
they're not gone.
This is entirely the same as the last game in regards to the flow, right? We have a tremendous lead coming out of individual play mostly this game. For the red team, they transition that into team fights, which go better for them, but then they get cocky and they take their lead and they kind of flail around with it. Now, they're going for Baron. I think this is a very safe call, and blue team can't really do anything about it, even if they see it. Although with only two members, it's a little more risky. Yeah, I mean, are they going to be able to come back from these small advantages? I don't think so.
Me neither. But at the same time, the point I'm trying to make is that they could have potential. Nicely done, Azir. Continue to dive on top of Life Hack. Might get the kill. Does get the kill. As well as the gold. Drops the gold on top of that. Look at that. Look, they get a double kill right off the bat. Soraka drops. Graves drops.
Yeah, that's a bloodbath.
They lost 4, but they're showing that they still want to fight. Blue team wants to fight. They want to show that they're still in this tournament. They may not be. Look at how far their gold deficit is there. They're 13,000 gold behind, right? And red team was just right there, Baron, the whole time. But
it's just a matter of money at this point, right? Like,
yeah.
If the blue team plays well and the red team plays poor, the amount of items and money on the red team will transition their poor play into fine play because they have those items, whereas the blue team has to play flawlessly nearly to really come out ahead in these fights that are like even.
Yes.
And that's the big thing that we gotta look at here.
And I want to say one thing. I think the problem here came from the fact that they may have very well lost because of the beginning in the invade.
It certainly didn't help. I think that there were other contributing factors.
Yes.
But giving Graves that kill and having him get to level 6 earlier, having Fizz get to level 6 earlier, to get the solo kill, all these things were factors in the slow early game losses that the red team suffered.
Imagine how amazing this game would have been to watch if blue team had scored that first blood and gotten away with it at the beginning of the game. I think this would be a completely different game.
Oh yeah, no, I think that almost every character on the blue team could have taken that money and run with it, with the exception of Leona. But even Leona, can still build Aegis or something.
Oh, look at Kimchi Caps. What is this?
Well, this is the BM coming out here. They're pretty secure in their victory.
This is just stupid. Why are you doing this? Ultimate coming down from Elitic. This is just rude. I don't appreciate this. Continued pulls coming in from Elitic forces the ultimate right back out of it. Kato God continue to press her back in. Kimchi Caps continue to drop down. Gonna go ahead and get the kill on top of the Fiora first. The rest of the team's not going to be able to do anything about it. And I think that's going to be the game. Goodbye, Kim Chicken. Goodbye, game.
Even with the BM, it was not enough to allow the blue team to just get an edge there. So
it would not be a Digipen tournament if the winning team was not full of BM.
Yeah, we see that shit happen. Well, not to that extent, but we see that stuff happen even in pros.
We do.
BM aside, red team showing why they're the superior team here. All players coming up to play.
And that's going to be game.
Solid games.
Very solid games. Well, very, very well done over to the blue team. Team Kato God is going to be walking away second place in this tournament with a solid 3,000 new.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere around there? I don't remember off the top of my head.
That's more than 20,000.
I've thrown around way too many numbers today. They're walking around with some couple thousand RP. Very, very well done. But we do have to give props over to the red team. Over on Team GtG Joon. with the brilliant first place. I believe they're walking out with 4,000 RP, as well as the Rise skin.
Yeah, and if June didn't already have that Triumphant Rise skin to add to their mid lane collection, they deserved it, because we got 18-4 this game. The previous game, I don't remember the kills, but it was substantial on Vlad. Solo lane dominance that wasn't even, like, jungler was not needed to make that stuff happen. It was just purely June showing mechanical mastery over the characters, and just showing that they were the better mid laner between Xexen and June. And again, same goes for Lifehack. We saw fantastic positioning, fantastic knowledge of how much damage you can output, and just knowing that they don't have to back down in the fights. And that's why I think that if we had to pick one player of these two games, right? I personally would pick Lifehack, just because that's some of the most solid AD carry play I've seen ever. But I don't want to discount any player on June's team, because they all played phenomenally. They worked well together. You know, the Soraka heals were clutch. The teleports were great from Kimchi caps. Vi ultimates helped set up fights, and June was a monster with probably the most damage in both games. If I had the ability to go back and check,
let's go ahead and take a look at that. We can actually go ahead and show it.
It was really close, but they were June and Lifehack were almost tied this game. If you go to graph and then hit damage dealt to champions.
There we go.
Not the second.
Okay, my apologies.
So it was real close.
Yep, so there we go. We do see the final figures coming out for that. Graves doing a whopping amount of damage alongside the Fizz, and barely nudging out. Only 200 damage difference from that Graves.
But that just goes to show you, like, how competent, like, Lifehack's play was, right? Like, Fizz is able to do a lot of damage up really quickly, and if he gets an advantage, he just snowballs that advantage throughout the game and just blows people up. And we saw that with the 18 kills coming out of June. Lifehack, though, just constantly putting out damage, positioning very well so they can keep putting out that damage, firing good ultimates, picking people off. With those, never backing down from a fight, and that's why they're able to keep up with June's 32,000 damage that was mostly burst damage in these fights. Not necessarily, they had good sustained damage as well, but that's a very contributing factor. So, you know, very well played.
So, that said, that's going to be the end of our tournament this year. For now. We will have a second tournament coming up. Actually, not too far from here, I believe. It's going to be November 17th? Or something? 17th. I think that's right. No, I think you're right. November 17th is what I was thinking myself. So that's when we're going to have a different structured tournament. This is the first one of the year, is meant to be one to kind of incorporate as many of the freshmen and get them to learn and get to meet other upperclassmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, as well as to really mix around all of the different degrees, get people to get to know one another and make some friends. So that's the whole purpose of the Captain's Draft tournament that we just finished today. Next time, we're going to be having the LAN tournament coming up, and that's going to be preset teams. Everybody's going to set them up, and that's actually usually kind of a bit more of a stomp, because we do have 2 or 3 different teams.
Well, there's 2 different aspects of it, though. Here we didn't have as much communication, so we had, some teams that, were playing well, but we had 1 or 2 people that weren't on the same page. In the LAN party, everyone should be on the same page. They should probably have played together before. They should work together. Yes. So I think we'll see more coordinated play, but I think that, it'll be good games all around either way. So look forward to that.
Yeah, so nonetheless, this has been an amazing tournament. Lots of fun play, and I hope you all had a blast. And we hope to see you again on November 17th when we have our next LAN tournament. So until then, thank you very much. This is Ninja Christopher Christensen.
And I am Ryan Minnesdu Baker.
And we will see you all again very soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching.